Today we're going to be reacting to some Crazy Stepmoms. My other socials will be down in the description, so make sure you go follow me on all of them. Let's get into it. Text from Stepmom's mother after I cut contact with dad/stepmom and sent my dad a letter explaining why I left. Dad and stepmom never replied directly to the letter. My stepmom only sent me messages about how much my brothers missed me before I blocked her. I read all of that. I don't know how much of it I took in though. Dearest grandson, I love you and I'm praying for you and your whole family. I know some of what is going on as your long-time absence has not gone unnoticed. We all love and miss you. I am sorry that being around all of us here in this environment upsets you to the point of wanting to hurt yourself. That in itself is a whole other issue. We have all always tried to show you love and a sense of belonging. I gather that things were asked of you that you felt were unjust and in your mind infringed upon your idea of what being an adult is. Being an adult is not just a number, it also comes with responsibility and maturity. All these things come as a package deal, and not everyone who is adult acts like one. There are some people who are 40 and up who still have the mentality of being childish. Clearly you feel unjustly treated, but were you really? Boundaries seem to be a word that keeps popping up. You may have had boundaries in your mind, but you never voiced them, so how could anyone infringe upon them? The few things asked of you, very few, are just part of being a family member. The love of family should have never been more than sufficient to cover these issues. Everyone here loves you and are saddened that you have cut yourself out of our lives. Avoidance is not being mature and just makes the cavern wider and harder to walk back. This decision of yours doesn't only affect you and your feelings. Feelings are a two-way street, and therein is the rub. What does that mean? I hope confining yourself to your environment there helps you come to terms and helps you find your voice. You are not the only one affected. You are not the only one affected by this spatial distancing and silence you have created. It is actually very hurtful. I believe the hurt associated with your actions goes through your whole family as well as extended family. You have to own the responsibility that goes with the action. We will always love you wherever you are and will always be a loved member of your family. Love, Nan. Also, this person needs to charge their phone. Why is it at 21%? In total, these messages just feel really condescending and as if she's trying to not necessarily gaslight, but I don't know, it's just, I guess it feels like gaslighting. It's really weird and it's giving me weird vibes. I don't like it. Next. Apparently I ruined my stepmom's marriage. Story plus screenshots of stepmother's average behaviour towards myself and my brother who is trans. Thank you. If bro's dead name wants me to call her anything else, she needs to ask. You are not her keeper or her voice. Call him River. I think that's how you say it. I'm incredibly tired of the dead naming. Just because it's not me doesn't mean it's alright. He's asked before and you just brush him off. No, she hasn't asked me. Stop telling me what I need to do. Yes, he has. He gave up because you wouldn't change. No, she hasn't. You need to stop texting your father. Let him enjoy his concert. I'm not the bigot misgendering people. Fair enough. You need to stop. Stop being the a-hole to my brother. And I'm done with the misgendering. I mean, already off the bat, she seems like a bit of an idiot. That's not the right word, but I can't find the right word while staying as PG friendly as possible. I'm so tired of explaining basic human decency. You need to learn some respect. I'm tired of doing things for unappreciative people. I'm not the a-hole. I didn't know misgendering people made you a saint. You need to stop. You will lose the car if you keep this up. Okay, so it seems like she's very much against calling this person's brother their preferred name, his preferred name, sorry, which is really, I don't understand why people don't do that. I don't understand people, I get you can have slip-ups and stuff like that, but I don't understand how people can just I don't understand how people can just point blank refuse to do so. It's odd. I don't know. A lot of middle-aged white men will have friends who, David maybe, goes by the name Dave now, and they'll happily do that, but they won't when it's someone who wants to change their name because they've transitioned or they don't feel like it suits them enough. It's weird. Repost from Am I the A-hole after I realised that this would go wonderfully here. Also, to add a bit of context since I forgot in the original post. Oh my god. Since I forgot to in the original post, my father has been incredibly supportive throughout all of this. He's gotten my stepmom to go into marriage counselling as a last-ditch attempt to get this crap to stop. I've also added some screenshots to show how she treats myself and my brother when Dad can't see it. For context on the screenshot, she made a post when my brother graduated where she misgendered and dead-named him. Trigger warning, transphobia plus a bit of verbal abuse. So I, 16 non-binary, have apparently ruined my dad's 50-year-old male and stepmom's 57-year-old female marriage, according to my stepmom. For a bit of context, I came out as non-binary almost a year ago. Ever since then, my stepmom has had continued issues with me over it. Today almost feels like the final straw. A few months ago, my dad and I were able to talk her into respecting my name, which was already hard enough, as trying to get her to change is like trying to get a brick wall to move 10 feet just by looking at it. Now this brings us to a few weeks ago. I was in the car with her on the way to a doctor's appointment. It had been quiet for most of the ride, as it was still rather early in the morning. She randomly brought up the fact that my biological mum had lied to our neighbours when he and my father got divorced. Bio mum's a whole nother can of worms. That really confused me then. And that she had said that my father had cheated on her. I'm pretty sure I just clarified something about the story and then asked her why she brought it up. Well, she then decided to back up my mum's completely poo story by saying that my dad did cheat on her and to not bother my father about it. Now, if this is something that, if true, could have fully ruined my relationship with my father, I brushed it off for the time being, but still made a mental note to talk to my dad about it and hopefully clear this up. Then, later, on the way home, she brings it up again. Now, I will also note that at this time I was somewhat distraught, as I was trying to explain why I had a... Oh my god, why can't I read? Now, I will also note that at this time I was somewhat distraught, as I was trying to explain why I have a hard time trusting people, she brought this up as well, and failing miserably, which only frustrated me, making myself even worse. This time, she just outright says to me that my father cheated on my mother. When we got home, I called my dad, who was still at work, to clarify. Basically, shortening this as our call was about 30 minutes, about a year and a half into my parents' divorce, it lasted somewhere between 2 to 2.5 years, my dad decided that he was tired of being single. He had just gotten out of a 17-year marriage, I don't blame him, and decided to start looking for a girlfriend. Mind you, my parents had been physically living apart for almost 2 years at this point. My mother decided that this counted as cheating for some weird reason. After I talked to my father about all of this, he called my stepmom. As in his words, she had no reason to bring that up and that was way out of line, or something along the lines of that. So, what does she do from there? Apologise or realise that she was wrong? Haha, nope. She comes up to my door and starts screaming at me, because of course she did. I don't fully remember all of it, but I do explicitly remember her saying that I don't respect my father or his job because I called him at work. This happened 2 or 3 weeks ago and she's still annoyed about it, which brings us to today. So it had been a pretty normal day for myself anyways. I don't have all that much to do since I'm out of school for the summer. I'm currently recovering. Like, why can't I talk? I don't have all that much to do since I'm out of school for the summer. I'm currently recovering from surgery on my shoulder, so I can't work or do too much. Then my stepmom comes home with food. Still pretty normal, so whatever. For some reason, the food didn't sit right with my stomach and it caused me to throw up. Or vomit, sorry. Again, oh well, I feel better now. I then told my stepmom that I was going to throw the food away as I was worried that eating it again would make me feel ill. She then decides to tell me to not throw away the food as the food didn't make you ill, it's only been 2 hours. She brought up the food poisoning thing. I had just assumed it didn't sit right with my stomach. When I said that I didn't think I had food poisoning and that it probably just didn't sit right with me, she decided to argue that it still wasn't the food, as it takes longer than a few hours to get sick. Which if it's food poisoning, it can take anywhere from a few hours to, I think it's 48 hours to make you ill. That didn't sound right, so I looked it up. Lo and behold, you can get sick as little as an hour from food, for teens anyway, but that probably carries over to adults as well. She then started yelling that I was disrespectful and that I always have to be right, and you are not a doctor. She isn't either. Then she pulled the whatever dead name, you win. I said, that's not my name, to which she responded with, yes it is, get over it. I then went back to my room and heard her going on about how I'm ruining their marriage and some other random nonsense. Thankfully, my father was home and, assumably, heard most of the exchange. I couldn't fully hear what was said, but I did hear him basically telling her to stop causing arguments. I'm not sure what exactly was said, but I did hear her storm outside and slam the door. Afterwards, I told my dad what caused it and about the dead naming. I don't know if he's talked to her yet about that. He will if he hasn't. So, am I the a-hole for ruining my dad and stepmom's marriage? Look, my jeans are cutting into my knee really badly. Oh, hello. Sorry, guys. I'm Mrs. Popular. Look, it's me. So from what we've seen, this person clearly isn't the a-hole here. It very clearly is their stepmom. And I don't think that they ruined their dad and stepmom's marriage. I think it, again, was this person's stepmom. This person's stepmom seems very, I can't think of the word, but it's like very big-headed, maybe? I don't know. Like, she's always trying to find an issue with something. And the fact that she can't respect either of your guys' dead names, which is absolutely insane. Because, again, I understand slip-ups, but just point-blank refusing to say it is just mad to me. I actually formed a proper sentence for once. What the hell? Next. Crazy stepmom hides dad's hospitalisation. What an odd thing to do, what the hell? Okay, so this has just been happening in the past week and I'm still trying to collect my thoughts about this crazy woman. Sorry if there's any grammar mistakes. English is not my first language and I'm on mobile. So, for context, my mum and dad divorced 8 years ago. He's been together with this lady for 7. Only my brother has been able to get along with her since neither me or my sister take the flag she tries to throw at us every time we meet. We've always joked about how she'd most likely not info us if our dad died. What does this mean? What does not info us? I think it means like not tell them, right? Oh, how right we were. Our dad is very socially awkward, so we very rarely are in contact with him, even though we all love each other very much and get along super well. He also hates bothering people with his own problems, so him not contacting us himself in the first place is very normal. To get the actual story, last Tuesday my dad's sister called us to tell us that our dad had been in the hospital for the past 3 days and that they were moving him to another hospital for the intensive care unit because he was super delirious and had a very serious case of pancreatitis. We of course started asking why no one had told us before and she said she didn't know about it and called us as soon as she saw his Facebook post from the night before. None of us are his friends on Facebook. She had also called my stepmom to ask if she had informed us about this. Stepmother said no, that why would she? At this point we were all furious. There was a very high chance of death and we wouldn't have known unless our aunt, who isn't even in contact with our dad or any of us normally, wouldn't have called. Like I mentioned before, my brother gets along with stepmother and has been to their place often, whereas I had only been there 3 times in 7 years and my sister 0 times, so there was no reason for her not to at least contact my brother. Anyways, as days went by, my dad was slowly getting better. We called twice a day to ask how he's been, etc. And so has stepmom. She started spreading false info about his conditions to my dad's family about how his body was slowly destroying itself, while the doctors and my dad both told us that he was doing a lot better. Stepmom also started calling my aunt, asking why we were calling there, frantically asking what we knew and demanded to know why we were bothering my dad and the doctors when she was already taking care of the calling. She never contacted us, not at any point. This woman was flipping and acting like we are some strangers bothering them, when actually she's the one who's doing everything to bother and mess with our families, acting jealous when we only cared for our dad's health, not her rubbish. This whole thing is still going on as my dad is still in the intensive care unit, but now apparently no one in my dad's side of the family actually believe anything she's saying, and my dad's brother even called my sister today to tell her how much he hates this woman. She's always been crazy, and this has only proved a point of how crazy she actually is. I'd love to tell other stories about her if people are interested. They're not as crazy, but still show you how much of an a-hole she is. I'll update if she pulls more rubbish. This is very messed up. That's so weird. This was 6 years ago. I just saw that it says 6 years ago. I didn't realise it was that long ago. But if someone didn't contact me about my mum or my dad, like in hospital with something severe as well, like pancreatitis, I would go mental at that person, especially if it was like something they should be doing. I mean, obviously it would have been nice if he, I don't think it says anything about him not not being able to contact him, beside obviously the social anxiety and the social awkwardness. But like, I would have preferred if he contacted this person. But you know, if he wasn't able to, or he didn't know what to say, and if she was contacting other family members, then 100% she should have contacted you, and that is completely disgusting that she didn't. Also, it doesn't matter that if like your family members don't get along, like immediate family of that person, or that person's immediate family, needs to be contacted as soon as possible. Do you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you? What? I don't even know. There's an update from OP, which was also 6 years ago, but I'm guessing it was a little bit after. Update. My dad got moved from the intensive care unit to another hospital. He's getting better and will be most likely released this week. We've talked to both nurses and his doctor from the ICU, and they told us there's no need for surgery and his body is starting to work fine again. And we also talked with him, and he told us he's feeling a lot better, even joked about wanting coffee, which is a sign that he's returning to normal. This still didn't stop Stepmom from calling around to lie to Dad's side of the family about how he needs surgery and how his body is shutting down. I honestly don't understand why she would lie about these things and cause worry for no reason. I'm sorry, but the fact that she's still lying about that, and it being even more severe, adding in the fact that he needs surgery when the doctors and the nurses have clearly said that he does not. It's just absolutely insane to me. I don't get how people can lie about these things. Okay guys, time to end it on a very sweet one. Sweet stepmom moment. My husband and I never did a proper ceremony when we got married, so 2 years in we are doing a vow renewal. My stepdad and mum went to try on some wedding dresses, and while I was in the fitting room, my stepdad, I think that's stepdaughter, not stepdad. My stepdaughter, 10 at the time, now 11, told my mum that I was like a mix of if an angel and a Disney princess had a baby. I don't think there's a higher compliment I could ever receive. I cry every time I think about it. Just wanted to share a happy story, as I know a lot of the stepmoms... Great. As I know a lot of the stepmom stuff is hard and can even be discouraging at times. And there's a Roblox advert underneath it. That is just beautiful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you really did enjoy, I beg you subscribe. I beg. I'm going to turn this off so you can hopefully see my socials on the back. Oh, you kind of can. It's K_streams on TikTok, Instagram and Twitch, and that is obviously what you're watching on. Now my hair is all like puffed up. Okay, it's fine. I will see you guys later. Bye!